And there you are, Julien. How are you? How is Paris? How's the City of Light? What's up this evening?
Good morning, Max. I'm actually doing great. My mailbag is empty. I haven't had any terrible experiences of late, so I'm just gonna sit here and listen to whatever's happening with you.
All right. Well, you had such a painful story with your brother last week. Mine is much, much less painful. But it's going to get into some of the same, like, how does the retail industry survive? Where is it going? What does it look like? Sort of stuff. I bought clothes yesterday or the other day, and it's something I do about every 6 months. No one would ever call me a clothes horse, and eventually stuff was falling apart enough that I go and I buy a few things. And so I went to 3 stores. And the first one I went to, there was a pretty long queue, but it's like, all right, whatever, I'll deal with the queue. And so I waited through, and I started to notice that when the person came up, the first thing that the checker said was, "Do you have a loyalty with us? What's your loyalty number?" And, just so cheerfully. And then they give it or not. And then, "Do you want a credit card? We have a credit card for you." And it just consistently, I heard it through, and I'm just like, oh God, I'm going to have to do this. This is something I do twice a year. I may not go. I'm going to go to your store once a year. I don't need a loyalty card. I don't need your credit card. So I'm up there, and do you have the loyalty number? I'm like, well, my wife might. Let me put in the number. Nope, don't have that. Put in my wife's number, or no, actually mine. I had mine there because 2 years ago when I bought something, I put it in. So yeah, they got my loyalty number. Okay, thank you. And then they rang me up and they're like, "Do you want a new credit card? You'd save $8 on this purchase with a new credit card." I said, "No, I don't want to. I have credit cards. I don't need a new one. And every flight I'm on now, you get the long-winded, "Hey, we got a wonderful credit card deal." And it's just like, shut up. Why are you doing this? I went to the next store. Same exact experience. I went to the next store 3 times in a row. "What's your loyalty number? Do you have our credit card?" And it's curmudgeonly of me. Again, we were talking the other day. The stores are in a really rough place. It gives them a way to track who's there and track purchases in a way that's really important for personalization. But how do can I just put a little sign on my forehead that says opt out? So when I go up there, they don't bug me and they don't ask me. It's just the grocery store, yes, I go there every week. That makes sense. And they give me discounts. Even if I only go there twice a year, I'm going to get a decent number of discounts. But there was nothing in it for me at all. They want to be able to track me. A, it angered me. B, I still, when I got up there, I'm very dutifully, "Let's try this number." And why? I don't know.
Are you more angry with yourself or with the store at this point?
Yes. More with the store for putting me in that situation. But yeah. I mean, I'm falling prey to it, and that frustrates me as well.
All right. Many things here. Many things. First, that's very seldom the case, but I don't really feel bad for you on this one. I mean, rude staff or hidden fees or whatever that is. Yeah, I would get that. But here, having someone cheerful and smiling, I don't see much harm. I'll get back to this in a minute because I will. Maybe I will have some extra details on this, but I don't feel so bad for you. Also, I don't believe you are necessarily the standard audience, meaning those loyalty programs are mostly for people who are going to come if not weekly, monthly or quarterly, and actually browse and potentially purchase something. And when you get an extra 15% off, you tend to feel, yeah, maybe I can spend that money because extra 15% is always good to have. So I think you're not necessarily the audience, and I'm always happy. I mean, I don't like to necessarily answer too many questions or just kind of things, but if the staff is cheerful and smiling, that's already a great place to start because it's not always the case. With that, there's probably a strong case for you to start buying online. And I remember last week you were telling me you don't want to buy a shirt online, you want to test it on. But if you can't stand having the staff smiling at you, probably online is a way to go
Fair
here.
enough.
Now, what I'm more keen to explore today is you actually have two very different topics. They get packaged together, but you have two very different topics. The first one is a loyalty card, which I'm actually all for, especially if sales are not too pushy. Asking you whether you have a loyalty number or not is a great thing to do. Pushing for you to take one and insisting is another story, but seems like it was the case here.
It wasn't the case in any of these.
What's often lacking, though, is if it's just purely for me to get an instant discount and for you to track me, I'm not sure we are both getting what we should get out of this relationship. Yes, I'm getting a discount. Yes, you're getting a tracker. But why leave it there? There is a chance for you to offer real personalization. You know my name. You know what was the last thing I purchased. You know my frequency. You know how much money I pay. You know that last time I got a jacket or whatever. So you could actually start personalizing the service, and no store that I'm aware of, but I'm not going to retail stores very often, does it properly. Like, if you have the loyalty card, don't just keep it as a number against a discount. There should be more to it. And I'm not talking about spamming you every other week with emails or phone calls. There can be something that could be beneficial to you and beneficial to me. And this, I see very little of it. But the second thing I see, and I think is a typical American thing, because I, again, might not be the expert here, but I don't see that so often in France, is a credit card thing. You're basically pushing your customers to live on credit. And that is, who is taking credit card is not people who are incredibly wealthy with the American Express black card. Who is taking the credit card? People who already struggle to get ends meet at the end of the month. And you're just giving them extra debt with very appealing credit card. And I find this a terrible, terrible hook. It's preying on people who just can't afford it. And again, might be very standard in the US. I'm really uncomfortable with this approach.
No, I think you're spot on. And at usurious interest rates, they're now over 20% with the way interest rates have gone up. Yeah.
So you get $8 against 20%.
But yeah, it is not at all uncommon for a credit card to be over 20% right now. So the banks win. The store gets, and it's also interesting. They're not even selling their own product. They're selling something that a bank, they're just getting a finder's fee for getting an account. Which is, I guess you got to make money every way you can. But it just, yeah, I agree. And you're right. It does hit the people who can afford them the least. And, I got nothing to add to it other than I think you're exactly right. And it's tragic.
So what about the loyalty program? What do you think could have been done better on that front?
You bring up a really good point about, if they really used it to understand my purchasing and to make good recommendations and the like. But again, I'm the wrong customer because they're never going to get enough data for me to know my patterns, because my pattern is I come maybe once a year. So maybe, around that time, they send me a couple of thoughtful ads with a couple of things that look like what I bought last time. But they don't have enough data to use it to be interesting in that case. I think you're right. I think that's the thing we can do that's actually helpful for the brands, or helpful for the consumer and therefore for the brand to know me better and to help me actually shop and get what I want, anticipate my needs. But that doesn't stop they're just getting it. They're carpet bombing. They're getting it from everybody. But how would they know? I don't, if I'm in the store, I don't know how to do anything. I think you're right. I think I should just very politely say, no, thank you, and leave it at that. And there are other people for whom they can and should and may or may not make it a real benefit. And so, okay, some people aren't going to get a benefit from it, but even, what little I do, they track because I did do it. So it's better than nothing. But I don't know. It's a yucky moment for me, and shame on me. I really shouldn't care.
Where I'm going with that loyalty program thing, and I think the difficult thing is to find the right balance between respecting the boundaries of privacy and offering something personalized. I'm definitely not a shopper, even less a serial shopper. If I go to a store, it's really because I have to. But I think I would be pleasantly surprised with something around, oh, I believe this month is your birthday. Here is a discount. Or it seems I'm about to pay at the cashier. It seems that you purchased these shoes 2 years ago. We got the new version now. I don't know. Are you interested in seeing the new version of it? Or, oh, apparently you purchased a hat or a pair of glasses for your wife last year around that time. Happy to offer another 15% discount if you wanted to buy a nice birthday or Christmas gift or whatever it was. I mean, it cannot become too invasive because you don't want to freak people out, but loyalty is about building a bond, right? Just saying you got 5% discount like everyone else in the store because they all have that loyalty card. It's not bonding. Yeah. It's just it's
and I would argue my purchasing at your store is not going to be creepy to me that you know that. I think that's okay. I expect you to know what I did at your store. So I think all of that is brilliant and perfectly fine, and would make me feel good. Again, I don't know. Last year you bought 2 shirts. You got 2 shirts here. You want a third? I mean, again, I'm not giving them much data or anything interesting, but yeah.
But that's what Amazon does well. Now they have that program where you can get a program delivery every month, right? You probably run out of cookies. It's probably about time for you to buy it again, and we make it super easy for you. Now, if it's a shirt store, you probably don't need a new shirt every other month, but it could work with many other retailers, right? Where if Amazon can do it, you got the customer information, you got the loyalty program, you got everything you need. Why don't you go one step further to create that bond that would actually make it a repeat customer, a pleasant experience that makes you feel like a VIP? The loyalty program should be about same thing as your airlines. You have access to the lounge. You have priority over customer service, whatever it is. You feel like a VIP. Loyalty program is now just something that everyone does. You completely lost that VIP sense.
Yeah, and even with me, I mean, show me, send me an email 6 months later saying, hey, the winter shirts are in, or the summer shirts are in. What do you think about these 2? And could work. And given how little data they have on me, anything that could work is kind of surprising and worth a shot.
So how do you feel about all of that now?
I feel good. I feel like I was being a curmudgeon, which I kind of knew, but you brought that home for me. And I do agree. I wasn't really thinking about the evils of credit cards and especially these were like, the discount stores associated with big chains. So they're definitely, that's the demographic they're going to get in those stores. So I feel bad about that. The rest of it, I feel like it was overall, I had a good experience, and just, I should get over somebody cheerfully asking me for a phone number that I can say, no, I don't want to share it.
Well, I think that's a good conclusion for today's episode. Credit cards are evil, and I should not smile too much when I'm greeting you on this call, because I might freak you out. So. Let's see what I come up next week. I have a feeling I'm not going to be smiling anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, fair enough. All righty. Well, I feel better. Appreciate
Excellent. Thank you, Max. Talk to you next week then.
Sounds great. Thanks, Julien.
Bye.